Rome began as a small settlement on the Tiber River around 753 BCE. For centuries, it remained an unremarkable Italian city-state under Etruscan influence. The city's transformation from local power to Mediterranean superpower took roughly 500 years of warfare, politics, and relentless expansion. The Roman Republic was established around 509 BCE after overthrowing the Etruscan monarchy. A system of consuls, senators, and tribunes distributed power, preventing any single ruler from controlling everything. This republican structure attracted talented officials and created administrative stability. Citizens gained limited political voice through voting assemblies, creating loyalty to the state. Rome's early conflicts centered on Italy. The Latin Wars brought neighboring tribes under Roman control through military conquest and strategic alliances. By 300 BCE, Rome dominated central Italy. Rather than destroying conquered peoples, Rome offered them citizenship or alliance status, absorbing their populations into the growing empire. This strategy transformed enemies into invested participants in Roman success. The Punic Wars against Carthage determined Mediterranean supremacy. Carthage was a wealthy North African power controlling trade routes and naval dominance. The First Punic War, 264 to 241 BCE, lasted 23 years, devastating both sides. Rome eventually built a superior navy and defeated Carthage, gaining Sicily, Sardinia, and Corsica as provinces. Roman soldiers proved adaptable, learning naval warfare despite traditional infantry expertise. The Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BCE, brought Hannibal, history's greatest military tactician. Hannibal marched 50,000 soldiers and war elephants across the Alps into Italy, shocking Romans who expected Carthaginian attacks from the sea. He defeated Roman armies repeatedly, killing 70,000 at Cannae in 216 BCE through brilliant tactical maneuvers. For 15 years, Hannibal devastated Italian countryside, while Romans adapted their military strategy. Eventually, Scipio Africanus defeated Hannibal at Zama in 202 BCE, forcing Carthage's surrender. Rome seized North African territories and emerged as Mediterranean's dominant military power. The Third Punic War, 149 to 146 BCE, ended Carthage permanently. Roman senators, particularly Cato, viewed Carthage as an eternal threat. Rome destroyed Carthage completely, slaughtering its population and salting fields to prevent recovery. The city's destruction symbolized Rome's ruthless commitment to eliminating rivals and establishing total Mediterranean hegemony. Following Carthage's destruction, Rome rapidly conquered Greece, Egypt, Syria, and surrounding territories. Greek cities fell to Roman legions between 146 and 63 BCE. Rather than destroying Greek civilization, Romans absorbed its culture, philosophy, art, and literature. Greek became the language of the Eastern Mediterranean, while Latin dominated the West. This cultural synthesis created the Greco-Roman civilization defining Western history. The Macedonian Wars conquered the Greek kingdoms. Egypt fell under Roman control after internal civil wars left it vulnerable. Syria and Mesopotamia were absorbed through military campaigns. By 100 BCE, Rome controlled the entire Mediterranean basin and vast territories beyond. The empire stretched from Spain to Mesopotamia, encompassing Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Military organization enabled this expansion. The Roman legion was history's most effective military machine, containing 5,000 heavily armed soldiers in organized formations. Legionaries trained constantly, fought in disciplined ranks, and followed strict commands. Engineering expertise allowed Romans to build roads, bridges, and fortifications rapidly, supporting supply lines across vast distances. Professional engineering corps constructed aqueducts bringing water to cities and siege equipment breaking enemy fortifications. Military superiority became Rome's foundation for dominance. Republican government proved inadequate for administering an empire. As territory expanded, wealthy generals accumulated power and resources. Civil conflicts erupted between factions seeking control. The Gracchi brothers attempted reform in 133 and 123 BCE, proposing land redistribution to poor citizens. Both were murdered by conservative senators, sparking decades of civil violence. Marius and Sulla led opposing military factions into Rome itself, beginning the social war and subsequent civil conflicts. Thousands died in Roman streets as different generals fought for supremacy. Professional armies replaced citizen militias, making soldiers loyal to generals rather than the state. This militarization of politics undermined republican institutions and made civil war increasingly likely. Pompey, Julius Caesar, and Crassus formed the first triumvirate in 60 BCE, secretly dividing power. Caesar became governor of Gaul, where he conquered vast territories between 58 and 50 BCE. He defeated Gallic chieftain Vercingetorix and brought France within Roman territory. Caesar's military success made him immensely popular with soldiers and common citizens, but threatened the Senate's power. Civil war erupted in 49 BCE when the Senate ordered Caesar to disband his army. Caesar marched into Italy with his legion, uttering, "The die is cast." Pompey fled to Egypt where Caesar defeated him. Caesar became dictator of Rome, but was assassinated in 44 BCE by senators, including his ally Brutus, who feared his power. The second triumvirate of Octavian, Mark Antony, and Lepidus fought Caesar's assassins and each other. Octavian eventually defeated all rivals, becoming sole ruler in 27 BCE. The Senate granted him the title Augustus, meaning respected one. Augustus established the Principate, maintaining republican appearances while holding actual power as supreme commander and chief priest. Augustus reformed military, administration, and governance. He reduced the army from 60 legions to 28, creating a professional standing force loyal to him. Civil service bureaucracy replaced political patronage, making government more efficient. Augustus extended citizenship to conquered peoples and established rule of law across the empire. He created postal systems, standardized weights and measures, and promoted literature and architecture. The Pax Romana, Roman peace, brought unprecedented stability lasting 2 centuries. Augustus expanded empire strategically, adding Egypt, parts of Spain, and territories along the Rhine and Danube. He never attempted unlimited expansion, recognizing logistical limits. The empire reached sustainable size roughly 3 million square miles with 50 to 90 million inhabitants. Trade flourished across this vast territory. Silk roads connected Rome to China. Mediterranean trade networks enriched merchants and cities. Roman engineering transformed landscapes. The Appian Way and other roads connected distant cities, enabling trade and military movement. Aqueducts carried fresh water hundreds of miles to supply cities. Concrete construction allowed massive buildings and structures. The Colosseum, Pantheon, and temples showcased architectural sophistication. Urban planning created organized cities throughout the empire with forums, theaters, and bathhouses. Roman law provided consistent governance across diverse regions. Legal codes protected property, enabled contracts, and established justice procedures. Citizenship provided legal status and protections. The concept of law transcending individual rulers influenced Western legal systems for millennia. BY 100 CE, the Roman Empire reached its greatest territorial extent. It represented humanity's largest unified political entity to that point. Rome's military superiority, administrative efficiency, cultural synthesis, and legal systems created a civilization that dominated the Mediterranean world for centuries. The empire's rise demonstrated how military power, strategic governance, and cultural influence could build enduring dominance, reshaping the ancient world fundamentally.